Hey there, hello there, everyone that is coming into SkyTour LiveStream for tonight, September 18th, 2019. This is Mark, and you'll never guess who is joining me tonight. That's right, it's Amanda and Daryl.
And Daryl.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Hello, Mark. Hello,
Hi.
Amanda. Hello, Daryl.
Hi, Mark.
Daryl, this is my friend Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl.
Please. I've heard that about 10,000 times. Don't do that to me.
Oh,
Let's see
well,
who's in chat.
I didn't.
Hi, Marco and Justin and Jax and Maddie. Hey, Maddie.
Maddie's here,
seen you in ages.
Nice to see you here, Maddie. Hi, Katie Q. She was here yesterday. Nice to see you, Katie.
Nice.
Yeah, tonight we're doing a little something different, folks and guys here. At my end, we're actually using a wide field telescope now in the dome. It's in the black and white image down here. You can actually let me pull it back because it just went away. You can actually see the side of this long barrel here. This is actually a 5-inch refracting telescope, a rich field telescope. So we have a wider view. What we're looking at here is actually the Lagoon Nebula. We saw that yesterday, and it filled up this whole screen. Now, check out what we get. I'm going to do a 8-second photo at 6400. We'll try that. So let's try that. Now you'll see what that does for us. It's a little, it gives you an idea of how big the field is comparatively than last time. And Daryl, I've been sending Daryl, and I sent you to Amanda the images of the lagoon and the trifid.
I saw the trifid and the lagoon, yeah.
Wasn't that just beautiful?
It was.
Yeah. See, Daryl, look at that. So this is the field of view of the main telescope, and this is the field of view of the 5-inch refractor. You can see it's much, much bigger. And we even have little, see, look at this cluster down here that we even picked up down here. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Very nice. I think I'm looking through Amanda's screen, which is a replica of your screen.
Okay.
It's not. We're all one call.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah. Merc's sharing screens, not
Yeah.
me.
Yes, very good. Okay then. Yeah, that's very nice, Mark.
If you want to, Daryl, if you want to go into silent mode with the YouTube channel, you can actually, then you can maximize it on the screen. And if you have two screens, you can put it on the other screen and just actually see the images of the objects a little clearer, like the folks at home are.
Okay.
The image will be a little delayed, but you can still large screen it, yeah.
Yeah, I know there'll be, I'm usually like about a 30-second delay or more, so I think I'll stay here on your screen then.
All right.
I'll be going back and forth, of course. I'm going to say
Yeah.
hi to everybody in the room.
Well, see,
And hello, everybody.
I'm zooming in now, Daryl. So this is more like what it is in the big screen, big telescope, and we've got this now. This is more of what it is now, which is really pretty. It's a really gorgeous nebula. I'm gonna actually, if I move this just so I can get the Trifid and the lagoon almost in the same field of view. Wouldn't that be cool?
With that 5-inch refractor, I bet you can.
I bet I can. Yeah, I think I've done this before, but I'm gonna try it again. Let's go back to our main view here, and telescope is there, and we had a satellite come through just a few minutes ago. Went down like this, right? So I'm gonna now come down here, bring this telescope down just a little bit until I see the Trifid. I don't know if that's the Trifid. It doesn't. It might be just.
One of the most common misapprehensions people have when they go, "Ooh, I wanted a telescope," is they think it's all about magnification.
Yeah.
Which ultimately works out to focal length, just like a telephoto lens, which this basically is. And magnification isn't everything. It's light gathering power. It's the aesthetics and the framing, the composition of the image.
That's right.
It's a lot of things. And hey, low power is great sometimes, like with this rich field refractor. I rather prefer it like that, actually.
Yeah. And the nice thing is that you can take longer imagery, longer exposures, and get a beautiful image because the guiding errors are minimized with a wider field.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Uh,
Look at that. We got the Trifid at the top, and we have the lagoon down at the bottom. But I can actually help you out a little bit with that. Let me see if I can just. Oh, I've got a pad thing. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll actually I'll move it down. Look at that. That's pretty, huh? That's really pretty.
It is. Mark, could you go back to your astronomy software image for a second? I forget what it's called.
Oh, you're talking about our favorite planetarium visual, this.
Yeah, Stellarium. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, can you show them where M8 and M20 are? There's the Trifid, and there's the lagoon.
This is the Trifid
and
right
now,
here.
Can you back out just enough to see the teapot? I talked about this a little while you were away last night, or a couple of nights ago. You were moving the dome, I believe.
Yeah, I actually did talk. I showed him a teapot too when I came back, so maybe I doubled up without realizing it.
There you go.
Yeah, this is the teapot that Daryl's talking about, guys. There's the handle, here's the top, and here's the spout. And it's really beautiful. And we're captioning this. I know you probably want to tell folks about something, Daryl. I just wanted to mention we're looking at these now because if you notice, it's really low to the horizon. Okay, it's setting. We're saying goodbye to the summer Sagittarius. But this is where the image that we've been just looking at of the lagoon and the Trifid Nebula, this is where those two are in the sky. Yeah. And the telescope has a field of like this. It's really huge, and it really. I want to look at the Sagittarius star cloud like that with this and see what we can see.
Now, I misspoke the other night. I went back and listened to a little bit of Sunday night's show when I was on, and I said the center of the galaxy is just to the lower left of the tip of the spout of the teapot there, where you see the white star and the two yellow stars. It's to the lower right.
Yeah.
If, like, you draw a line down to the cat's eyes in Scorpius, it's a little bit toward Scorpius off the tip of the spout of the teapot. And there's the cat's eyes right there.
These guys.
So you draw a line from the tip of the spout of the teapot down to the tip of the scorpion's tail. They call those two stars the cat's eyes. And what they are is they're two stars named Shaula and Lasath.
Yep.
And both stars, their names mean stinger. Those are the stingers on the scorpion's tail. So if you draw a line right from the tip of the spout of the teapot to the tip of the scorpion's stinger, Sagittarius A star is right there in between those two.
Right about there. Yep.
And one other thing, when you see the teapot this time of year, getting late, nearly into summer, well, over the course of the summer, the teapot continues to rotate around the southern southern pole, and it'll move from left to right, but it will also tip. So the spout is low.
Yep.
Later in the summer as now. And what you see right here, Mark's 2 hours later than I am. And the Milky Way is the steam coming out of the spout of the teapot. Do you see that?
Yeah, there it is, right there. It goes all the way up into Cygnus and on down to Cassiopeia at the north end. Yeah.
So what it is, thank you for indulging me, Mark.
No,
Carry on.
I'm loving it, Daryl. This is wonderful.
Now, is that considered an asterism of Sagittarius?
Yes.
So Scorpion?
Excellent.
Yes.
See that now? That's what makes me really, really enjoy this, guys. Is when you realize that you've learned something. You guys and Amanda really has.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amanda. Go ahead.
So an asterism would be small enough that we could see the whole thing in a telescope?
No.
Generally
not.
Too big?
Yeah.
Now, when you see the teapot there, that is about the size of your hand at arm's length. In March 1986, when I got my best look at Halley's Comet, you see the handle there on the left side of the teapot, those 4 stars, kind of a rhombus shape right there. The head of Halley's Comet was just immediately to the left of the handle of the teapot, and the tail was about 10 degrees long, extending back across the handle into roughly the middle of the body of the teapot there. You see that largest rhombus in the view. Yeah. Rhombus isn't the word. What am I looking for?
Trapezoid.
But anyway,
trapezoid.
Thank you, trapezoid. Amanda, an asterism, the teapot there is an asterism. That means it's not an official constellation, but it is easily recognizable to Joe Sixpack, the general public. Like I said the other night, Homer Simpson saw cowboys. Well, the ancient Greeks looked at that, and they saw a half-man, half-horse shooting a bow and arrow.
Centaur.
We look at it, we see a teapot. Yep. Not as dramatic, maybe, but it's easily recognizable, and it's really cool. And there's M20 again.
Yeah, this is Measure 20. I just brought it back for a second. I want to just try and get one more look here just to show people. So we saw M8 and M20. This is Measure 8 down here, just off the field, and this is M20. Those are the 2 nebulae that we just saw, and they can see the relative size of our field. And if we go back real quick to Stellarium, this is where we're looking. So this is the Trifid Nebula up here, and this is the Lagoon. So our field's about this big. Okay, so you can see that we would not be able to see the entire asterism of these stars in Sagittarius in a field only this big. We might get a couple of the stars, at some point, but we don't be able to see all of them. Okay, now what I want to do is I just want to come back, because we've got other things to shoot too as well, and I want to actually come back into the system here, and I want to bring up my telescope controls, and I want to kind of just raise this up a little bit. All right, and just do about like that, and do another 10-second photo. These are all 10-second shots. Not bad. Hey, Cosmic Lettuce, how you doing?
It's been a long time since I streamed. I was going to say since we streamed.
Yeah.
You got a few in this weekend, but wow.
Here we go.
Between that and the show, holy cow,
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It has. Well, there we go. So there we now can see the Lagoon Nebula down here in its almost entirety, and the Trifid Nebula almost in its entirety. Not bad. Not a bad thing. So this is those 2 nebulae, and in the wide field, you can see that it's really just beautiful. And I'm going to try, at 8,000, I'm going to try and go up to 20 seconds here, because I'd like to see if I can capture, something a little bit deeper. Then we're going to look at the center of the galaxy. So I purposely moved it over just a little bit, and we're going to come back now to this, and we'll see it move over just a little bit, because I just moved it, and before I took the picture. So when it moves, it'll shift, and that'll be what we're looking at. And it's 20 seconds, so you'll see the difference between 20 seconds and 10. Okay. Now, the background is brighter, but we're also seeing some really dense, knotty stars here. Do you see that?
Yes.
We're seeing some dense, knotty gas here, and this is all part of the lagoon, which is what I was hoping I could show. You can see that this is an extension, a logical extension of the lagoon. The lagoon's just a location where the stars are actually causing the gas there to glow, particularly that O star in the hourglass area of the lagoon that we've talked about before, that little area down there that is tremendously bright. So yeah, this is an extremely wonderful field of density, and it's very dense too for the we're looking toward the center of the galaxy, not at the center of the galaxy. Neat stuff, boy. Let me tell you, this is just beautiful. And the red nebulas, of course, really are accentuated. The filter really picks these up. I can't tell you enough how this new filter is just one heck of a performer, as Daryl said before. And it's really a good performer to me now. I'm really enjoying it.
Speaking of telescopes,
Yeah.
Marco is in chat. Did you hear about his telescope?
Marco, I have not heard about your telescope. Did you tell me last night? If you did, I would have remembered.
I asked Marco to marry him, marry me, but he wouldn't answer.
It has to be a good one.
I hope we're not letting the cat out of the bag, Marco.
Uh-oh. Well, he shared the other day. I thought...
Oh, did he? Well, yeah. Marco, tell us, please, if you're willing.
Okay, yeah, Marco, let us know.
I'll tell if you want.
It's okay. I guess I should have asked before I said anything.
Would he buy a 14?
Try again.
Oh, no. A 16?
Try again.
24?
22, a plane wave instrument.
Wow.
And Marco, I'm sorry. Marco paid more for that telescope than I paid for my house, okay?
Wow. Really?
That's good.
I didn't know that.
Where is he putting it?
I don't know. I was meaning to ask him that. And
well,
like I said, I asked him to marry me, but he wouldn't, so there you go. I mean, that is an observatory class instrument, plane wave. You'd have to look it up. But
then why isn't he streaming?
He probably needs to build an observatory first.
Yeah, this is not something you roll out of the garage.
And come join the team, the Astro Imaging Live team.
Yeah.
Where's Marco again?
Well, it's what we're trying to find out. We don't know.
I want to say he's in the Carolinas. I thought he was in Florida, but I know the hurricane hit him when it hit Carolina.
Wow.
Did I embarrass him? Did he go away?
No, he's probably...
No, I'm just wondering, like, if it was outside. Like, I thought it was in the States, but we got to get more people from different countries streaming.
Well, he's
from Canada.
he's from us. He's from here, so...
Yeah. Well, still a different part of the States.
Sure. All right, I'm going to move to the Sagittarius star cloud, one of the star cloud locations.
Hello, David Schmidt.
Dave Schmidt.
Hi, David. I wrote it in chat, but since we're all saying it out loud.
Yeah.
That's why I said all the highs out loud.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I'm still ignoring people because I'm not typing it in chat, so I started typing it in chat again.
Oh, that's okay. People know. Because they hear you, and they might miss the chat, but they'll hear you. You know what I mean?
Why will they hear me?
Because you're talking.
Yeah.
And they'll hear you talking. Justin T, you're from North Korea?
Justin's from the hood.
I immediately doubt that because I don't believe that the North Koreans actually have internet.
His Korean name is some young guy.
Oh yeah, look at that. Here is the small Sagittarius star cloud. It's one of the star clouds. You can actually see some of the dark nebula in here. I took some photos of this down in Arizona as well, and it's really dense. And this is only only just a 20-second shot. But boy, look at that, huh? And it's really dense here. And you see other things that are here. And you know what? This is telling me that I need to do this other photo that I've been meaning to, and that is to take us up to our one and only. I want to get to. Not there yet. I want to come find the Omega here and the Eagle. I don't think we'll be able to see the Omega and the Eagle in the same shot, but I'm going to go to the Omega anyway. We've imaged this before, quite a bit actually. The images, by the way, came out beautiful, folks. I will put them up on SkyTour LiveStream, Facebook, and then everything we took that's been processed. I think it's going to be it'll be ready in just a couple days. They're almost done now, actually. So let's go take a look here.
I've seen the changes night by night as the moonlight has lessened, and
yes,
you appear to be grabbing more and more every night since with the new filter. That's a real performer.
Yeah, it's a really, really pretty filter, and I'm not sure what makes it that much better. I understand the wavelengths that it's passing, and it's passing hydrogen alpha as a primary, and that's of course our favorite stellar nursery color that we see, the red, and it's looking like it's probably going to continue to perform well.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm going to 20 seconds at 10,000 for the Omega Nebula, and we'll see that here in a second. Boy, I tell you, it's been a beautiful night, and it's actually I can't say enough, actually. Just
it's
beautiful.
Clear here. The summer monsoon finally broke, but it's
Awesome.
Been windy as heck out today. Maybe we could talk about my telescope later.
Yeah.
Or maybe we won't.
Oh, wow. Here's a first.
Oh, catch a satellite in that?
Well, more than one. Did you see the second one?
I see one. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we caught two satellites going by the Omega Nebula. It looks almost like the Omega Nebula is like some kind of starship, and it's shooting a beam. Yeah. Yeah, so we don't know whether the satellite is going from here to here, or from here to here.
Looks like it's tumbling, too.
It's got a slight change in brightness, and that could be due to a number of things. It could be due to the air mass that it's going through above our heads, causing it to change slightly in brightness. It could have been like a upper level air disturbance, which kind of breaks up some of the light for a moment. But we look for the periodic error, the periodic thing. This is, it's brighter and then dimmer, very dim, then gets brighter. So this seems to be a periodic thing. So this might be what we call a slow tumbler, as you're saying. But that's pretty cool. But there's the Omega Nebula, and this was this big on the screen. Okay, but in the 5-inch, it's actually a lot smaller, and of course, you see it in context to everything else around it, and it's really pretty. And this is, let me see if I can do one little thing. Actually, I kind of went there prematurely. Let me go back to this image and do this. I'm going to try and take my image here and work on it just a little bit. Give us a little bit of, if I go up, it's not going to help. Go down, do a little of that, and the hue, see, we can change all the way to all these different palettes. That right there is more or less the Hubble palette. When the Hubble takes pictures, the hydrogen alpha shows up as that kind of a yellowish green, because that's how they show that. And these colors here, that's sort of Hubble palette as well. But it's kind of cool. I mean, I like that because it shows as well. But really, bringing this down just to give a little more contrast is really nice. And again, the satellite here and here is just kind of fun. That's sort of cool. Of course, we've been talking for a while, but we can easily determine which direction the satellite's going, because if I just took another picture right after, we would have seen this satellite again. Okay? Now, here's a question for you, and this is for you guys listening out there. Hey, Carolina Sky. Thank you. When we see a satellite going through this way, and we see a satellite going that way, okay, and I'm talking about the length of the path. For those of you out there listening and watching, do you know what that means? That's a little quiz. What does it mean? This satellite path for the same amount of time is much shorter than this satellite path.
The lower satellite is much farther away. I dare say.
Okay.
You would think it would be because one's moving faster.
Well, it'll appear to move faster because it's closer. I mean, they're moving at roughly the same rate, about maybe 17,000 miles an hour.
Well,
unless one lower down is in a farther out orbit, also.
The 17,500 mile an hour orbit is for objects that are around 250 miles up. Mm-hmm. Higher than that, they can move slower. At geosync, obviously, they're moving at the rotation rate of the Earth out there at that location. Yes. So it's much slower. But this guy is definitely, this one right here is probably, for the amount of time we spent, it's not long enough to have been a geosynchronous satellite. It was only 20 seconds. But it could be. This could be a geosynchronous satellite. Because I think that the way we're angled, this is just, isn't this near the celestial equator? Or is it a little north?
Yeah.
Let's go see. Okay, so there's the Omega Nebula, and this is minus 16. So it's not close enough. It's probably not a geosync. They're all right around the equatorial location. But still, not bad. I think that's... Go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Yeah?
If that star is out at about a geosynchronous distance, but it's not on the equator, what's that star going to do? Or what's that satellite going to do over the course of time?
I mean, if it's actually...
If it's not on the equator precisely.
Well, you're gonna see motion actually, and when we have the for the geosynchronous satellites, remember it's a tricky question for the following reason. The telescope is tracking the stars. It's not tracking the geosynchronous satellites. If it was, the clock drive wouldn't even be running.
Yep.
It'd be off, and then that satellite would show up as a singular dot, maybe with a little bit of wobble because they do wobble in their orbits a little. But the stars would streak around it, and that's a way to identify these on photographs. Mm-hmm. You know, just point at the celestial equator, take a time exposure, and the things that are just singular dots are the satellites. The stars are all streaked.
Yep. Well, my point being, you mentioned the word wobble. That might be a good description. If they place a satellite out there that far, but if it's not placed precisely in an equatorial orbit, you will see it kind of oscillate up and down.
Yes. Yep.
And maybe side to side over the course of time.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what you were getting at with your question.
Yes.
Because they aren't always right at the equatorial plane. And then they will do this oscillation, which is kind of periodic. You can predict it and know exactly where it is. And this is the perfect music for this, you know, the... Blue Danube Waltz. You know.
I might add too that the upper satellite in that image, if it is more of a near-Earth satellite, it will be moving some variation of west to east. It might be northwest to southeast, which I think that is right there. But just as a general thing, you know, satellites, near-Earth satellites, orbit generally east to west. It's like if you watch the International Space Station, you may see it pass over northwest to southeast or southwest to northeast, but it will always generally be moving west to east.
Well, remember, the satellites are launched in the direction the Earth is rotating to help get that extra
of course.
push into orbit because of the rotation of the Earth they have when they leave the Earth. You know, anything leaving the Earth is moving at just over 1,000 miles an hour, as it is, roughly at the equator. You know? So,
rock star.
Hey, Rock.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah, and there are some unusual orbits, too. The Russians have some really odd ones. Molnias, I think they're called, which I don't remember much about, but they can describe some really odd paths across the sky, like over the course of an evening and such.
Yeah, and not only that, there are some satellites that are actually going the wrong way, and some satellites, of course, are going north-south. And going into a north-south orbit is really difficult to achieve.
Yes.
But the spy birds do that typically.
Yes.
When we needed to like get over the poles and look at what's going on over the poles.
Yeah. These are the keyhole satellites.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. The real top secret stuff.
KDQ, I agree with you. The moon can certainly go there. She says the moon can go to hell tonight. Yeah, you know, this is just beautiful, and I think we want to keep doing this. So let's go back into our this thing, our planetarium view, because I want to move up a little, and I want to go to the Eagle Nebula to check this out. I want to see the Eagle, and so do you.
I got into it with some zombies on Reddit last night, I think, or
Really?
night before. Somebody posted an article about the upcoming Elon Musk satellite constellation, Starlink, whatever they call it.
Starlink,
5,000 communication sats, and
Yep.
they were just all over themselves because, golly, I'll be able to take my cell phone everywhere now. And I piped up about 5,000 satellites wiping the night skies out for every Earth-based telescope, and a lot of them didn't appreciate that. I want my iPhone, man.
Yeah, I want my iPhone on Popocatépetl volcano. Doesn't matter if the volcano's erupting, you're dead anyway. Having your phone ain't gonna help save you.
Yep.
Okay.
Will you excuse me for just a minute? I'll be right back, please. I'm muted.
All right. There we go, Amanda.
We've been abandoned.
It's okay. We can deal with it. Here's the Eagle Nebula. You can see the pillars of creation are very small.
Now, is it your filter that's making it look like there's so many more stars visible?
The filter is actually allowing more of the stars to come through, yes.
Wow.
I'm killing a lot of the sky glow that may be in there, and I'm also allowing a lot of this red stuff to come through, the red hydrogen gas. So the filter is an amazing it's an amazing accomplishment for this telescope because it's attached to the camera, and now it's built into the camera, and so we'll be able to get these kinds of images for the foreseeable future. It's really beautiful. Very happy with how it's coming out. But you like the stars, don't you?
It looks gorgeous. These last few images have really, really looked beautiful.
Yeah. I can't deny that it's just got some beauty to it. It's unmistakable. Now let's take a look here. Let's see.
It looks like you're getting very crisp sky.
We do have very crisp sky right now, and so we're taking advantage of it. And we can't get the Omega in here, but you know what we can do? We can go right to this location, which is where I want to go. This is a place that has some really interesting colors as well as objects.
How interesting are the colors?
Well, look at the stars after I take the picture. We should see some stars that have some oranges. Should be a few. Thanks, Carolina Sky. This is the wide field 5-inch refractor in the dome that we're using tonight.
Welcome back, Daryl.
Thank you.
Yep.
I tried to sneak up on you. I guess you could hear me, huh?
I'm like a cat.
Now, I'm sorry. I know I'm making a lot of noise tonight. I'm trying not to.
No, you're fine.
I did just put the tea kettle on, so be aware.
Yeah, so tea kettle will be screaming in the background.
Yeah, Bill picked up on that the other night where I did. So apologies, everybody. Carry on, please, Mark.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Everyone should have a nice warm cup of tea while they're staring at the stars.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Or cocoa.
With baby marshmallows.
Why babies?
And that Mark doesn't have to freeze to death outside anymore.
Yeah. I know. That's actually probably the best part.
Yeah, I bet.
I get to do this now, and I can live the passion without having to freeze.
Make you tough.
Yeah. Look at this.
Mark, I'm sorry. Carry on, please.
No, that's fine. Look at this beautiful area here. This is why I wanted to show you this. See, there's stars that are orange, reds, and you can see the star clouds here. Look at this. See this? There's a nebula here. Okay, there's an awful lot going on here. An awful lot going on right in here. Do you see that? It's really pretty.
Marco, honest, it's a tea kettle. It's not a bong or anything.
Is that what he said?
No.
Okay, yeah. Tea kettle.
He thinks tea kettle's a cover up for something.
Yeah. Yeah, and Daryl's bong whistles.
I've never been convicted of a felony.
Oh. Well, neither have I, actually.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very pretty. So this is a very pretty, really pretty view in this area. You can actually see, like I said, some of the nebulous detail. And we're only just a little, we're not too far away. I mean, we do have, on the horizon, we do have moon glow because the moon is rising in a little while. But there's a preliminary glow that you see over the horizon that comes in, and that's responsible for the blue glow that we see in the imagery. So whenever there's a moon that's within an hour of rising, you're going to have moon influence on your imagery, which is kind of sad. But it is what it is. I'm gonna go up a little bit. All right, to here, and we're gonna do another 20 seconds here. So now we're just doing wide-angle views of the Milky Way to see what's going on and see how it looks. It's really interesting. And if I gotta drag a few things over here that I want to have closer to each other. Doing housekeeping on my lower area here, on the lower screen. Here we go. And now what do we got? Wow, look at that. Now, is that beautiful or what? It almost looks like we're looking at a wet driveway, doesn't it?
I sometimes wonder, do you see star chains in that image?
Yeah, like this.
You know, are they real? Are they not? Whoops. Tea kettle, be right back.
Yeah. See, because...
Wow, that was loud, dude.
Yeah, well, no one's going to complain that our levels are low tonight.
Loud on Skype.
Yeah. Yeah, look at how dense it is here. But if you'll notice, you see these star chains. There's some here, and here, and here. Everywhere you look, you can see linear star chains. And I'll say to you this, Amanda. Do you also see the satellite? No, you won't see the satellite because it's just off the screen down here. You cannot see it. My mistake. But I could.
Daryl's bong is ready. I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Forgive me, Mark. I'm being annoying tonight. I'm making noise.
You're not being
you're
annoying.
fine.
You're fun.
Cutting up and.
I'm happy. The gang's all back together.
Yeah.
You guys were streaming the other night without me, but
Well,
I like
you
working
had
together.
You had things to
a date
do.
with Steve Martin.
You had things to do, and there's no problem with that. We all have a life.
Mark, the question I was asking before I took a tea kettle break, you see several star chains in that image.
Yeah, like right here.
down in the lower right, upper left. I see one a little left of across the top.
Yeah.
Are any of those real, or are they all just happenstance alignments of stars out in space?
If you ask any astronomer, he will say that they're just happenstance alignments. But there is another possibility, and that is that at some time in the distant past, it's possible that a knot of dense gas went through a particular area, probably propelled by a previous supernova, and perhaps initiated star formation along the shock front, and maybe made these chains of stars. And these chains of stars are actually the path of the movement of the gas millions and millions and millions of years ago, maybe billions of years ago. So that is a possibility. It's my theory and what it is too, but that's about it. It's certainly not. It's certainly not a theory that is subscribed to by mainstream at all. Not at this point. But I think that it's very possible that that's something that happens.
Yeah. Well, I still, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, but. I think sometimes these things are more than just happenstance. And I think crater chains on the moon are much the same. Some of them are real, where a serial asteroid came in and sort of like Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 when it hit Jupiter.
Sure.
There were like 19 big chunks.
Yeah, and it left a trail of debris along the atmosphere, upper belts, upper atmosphere.
And something like that impacted the moon in the case of the moon.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a beautiful picture. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, I kind of, you can see the nebula here. You can see this nebulous detail. And, we're looking at probably, I don't know, several thousand overall stars in the view. And then we have the clouds, which are composed of many tens of thousands more, And then we have things like this, which is that cluster that we're looking at, and that we see. This is, again, these are all very knowable things. We can go in here and we can zoom in and we can see, okay, that's IC 11234, and we have IC 128, which is 1283, which is this is a little tiny cloud that's associated with nebulosity, which we call, an H2 region. And that's kind of right here, what you can see. There it is right there. Very clear. You can see that little H2 region. Okay. And this is the cluster that was named right below it. So there's a lot of really interesting objects. Here's some more star chains, like Daryl was saying. There's one there. There's one here. There's one there. Some over there. Okay. There's actually quite a number of these that are visible. So, again, are they real or are they Memorex? I think that they're real in that we are seeing them, so therefore they're there. But I think that the linearity of them probably belies the way in which they were formed, and I do think that perhaps that they were formed together, one after another, perchance. It would be great to be able to get the ages of these stars. If these stars are all roughly the same composition, then that's a good indicator that they were all formed from the same cloud.
Very true.
And so if we can also get their ages and find out that some of these are a little bit older than others, if they're vastly different in age, well, then they had to be happenstance. See what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
We should see a chronology, in other words.
Yeah. Well, I always think of the Veil Nebula when, things like this. You see the veil and you can see the shock fronts. And you got to wonder, are stars forming there, or will stars form, or have they already, but we haven't seen it yet?
Well, there's definitely some stars that are forming off of that. There's
excuse me.
That's all right. There's some papers that indicate that this is true. Okay. But I'm going to actually, I want to take us up as far as we can go here tonight. I might not be able to. I might have to move the dome, but I'm willing to.
There's and Altair.
Yes, that's right. I want to actually get us I want to go to Albireo first. I'd like to go to Albireo. Folks know I like to do this. Because if I can see Albireo, then I can drop down to catch some of the other things I want to see. So I'm going to actually check out Albireo and hope that it works. So here we go. We're heading to Albireo now. And I'm going to run back to the dome. Okay, you can see the stars whipping by. And there goes the telescope. And I can see right now that it looks like it's just on the edge. We might just barely have made clarity here. But there's Albireo. You can't miss it. Now, in the scope, Albireo is two distinct objects. But here, it almost looks like one. See? But we're going to just actually take a picture here. We're going to do a shorter exposure. We're going to do, say, 4 seconds at 10,000. We should see a really pretty pair of stars.
Pardon me just a moment. Marco, I'll fight you, dude. Green chicks are where it's at, all right? They always have been and they always will be. I'm talking green Orion slave girls from Star Trek. And if that social justice warrior is still in the audience, well, go cry somewhere else, please. Thank you, that's all. Continue.
Wow. What's in that tea?
Caffeine. Well, not much caffeine. It's just green tea.
Oh, Carolina Sky, you're asking about the Trifid Nebula. I can actually show you what we get for the view because we did one. So let's go back and... Okay, this is the lagoon from earlier. And I want to find the Trifid Nebula for you now. This is earlier shots here. Okay, this is more lagoon. Here's lagoon and Trifid, as you can see. There's a Trifid up there. And I don't actually think I focused only on the Trifid, did I? I had the lagoon in there the whole time. But see, that's actually really pretty, and that was a good question. Like, what's it look like with the Trifid at this magnification? And which is actually, gosh, we're well over 1.5 degrees of field here. So that's pretty cool. Let's go back now to here. And we have Albireo in here. And what I'm going to do now is I suspect if I go to the dumbbell, I'm going to need to move the dome. But why?
Thank you very much, Raymond Bay. Holy cow, are you watching chat, Mark?
Oh my gosh, Raymond, thank you.
You made a contribution for your new filter.
Wow.
Thank you, that's very generous of you, Raymond.
Thank you, Ray.
Right.
And your excuse for being late to class for that.
He was late for class?
He was late for class.
Oh, nonsense. There's always a makeup with my astronomy, you know that. Thank you, guys. That's wonderful, Ray. Thank you. So this is the Dumbbell Nebula in the wide field. Let's see if we can get to it. I may have to move the dome, like I said. And again, just so people know, I haven't motorized the dome yet, and I'm not going to because the overall goal is it's going to get moved to Arizona, where it's going to be in a roll-off roof observatory where the roof goes off, and now the entire telescope is free to look at everywhere in the sky at all times. Then the roof comes on, and it's closed up. So I just have a few more pieces of equipment to get, an all-sky camera, maybe a small weather station, and those would go in out there. And then we'll go put a telescope out there. We've already got the spot. Hey, Joanna. Why is that true, Joanna? You say you're here soon, you will not be able to see the skies with your own telescope. Why is that? Tell me what you heard, in other words. And I'll be happy to dispel that myth, because I'm sure it's only a myth.
Unless she means due to pollution or something. I don't see why.
Maybe light pollution.
Maybe she's referring to that Starlink thing I mentioned.
Oh, the Starlink thing. Okay. Yeah, you know what? It's a long time before satellites are going to ruin the night view. And for people who are doing casual astronomy, who are looking at the night sky, it won't matter at all. For the next 150 years, it won't matter, because the satellites will always be kind of cool to them. Oh, look, a neat little satellite. You know, and it'll just become part of our, part of everything that we see in the night sky. Okay, I'm dropping down to the Dumbbell Nebula here. Let's see if we can get to it. Telescope's on its way. And
I will admit, I saw some early astro professional observatory imaging done shortly after the launch of the first batch of Starlinks, and
Mm-hmm.
you probably saw it, Mark. I mean, there was one image where they were just all over the
lined up.
page,
Mm-hmm.
but they have since dispersed. But there are going to be a whole lot more of them.
Yeah.
And I am really concerned about what could happen down the road.
Well, keep this in mind. All the Iridium constellation are coming back down, and there's a lot of Iridium satellites. So the Starlink satellites might be replacing the Iridiums, not in function, but in in presence. And if that's the case, then we're losing satellites as well as putting new ones up. Yes, there's junk up there. Yes, there's rocket bodies. But there are also satellites that are very, very vital to our everyday technology. And Starlink will probably be, one set of those. Let me just go to this. I'm trying to just make sure. I think the dumbbell's right below center. Yeah, there it is. Okay. When I put the telescope up there, this telescope's mounted on top of the 10, and so we have quite a bit of weight on the mount out there. So we're gonna do 10 seconds at 10,000, and first thing I'm gonna do is bring us down a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna come down. All right, there we are. And now let's do 10 seconds at 10,000, shall we? Yes, we shall. And as you can see, we do have a new camera in the observatory that's a permanent infrared system to be able to see what's going on with the telescope. And I've just got a few housekeeping things to do with that one. All right, let's go check out what our dumbbell looks like. Remember, the dumbbell was about this big on our images in the past. How big do you think it is here? Look at that little thing. Look how tiny it is. So you can see how much more field we have. You can also see how rich the field of stars is that the dumbbell sits within. Okay? We can't even see the central star at this range because of the... I mean, I could have actually probably taken another picture image that's a little shorter, actually. So why don't we do that? Just to say why not. Okay, let's go and we'll do 8 seconds at 8,000. All right, and it'll be a little dimmer, but it might be a little bit more steady. Astro Live, yes, you definitely need to get some filters. Okay, now you'll see the noise. My dynamic noise reduction algorithm is going on there, and we can actually see how it's reducing the noise. There's the central star. See it? Right there in the middle. Boom, boom, right there. See it? If you can't see it, now you can see it right there. Okay, and there it is. I said yesterday, the Dumbbell Nebula, kind of poignant. For all its beauty, it could also be a herald of death for the system within which it went off, where the star died. Hopefully, if there was a civilization around that star, there may not have been, but if there was, let's hope that they found their way away from the star, because this gas is extremely hot. It's being ionized, after all, by the white dwarf radiation from the center here. And so this star, had it been a star that had life forms on the planets that may have been circling it, is no longer a viable candidate for life in the universe. So, but it is spreading oxygen atoms and neon and hydrogen atoms and many more out to the interstellar medium. And I said yesterday that these nebulae are almost there's a maximum size to a planetary nebula, and the reason is because the central star, and this is a rough order of magnitude, the central star is usually a white dwarf for these types of planetaries, for these types of nebulae rather. And the white dwarf has a potential to ionize the atoms and make them glow like we see here in this image out to a certain distance. And because the energy falls off as the square of the distance from the star, that radiation will not be able to ionize beyond a certain range. So these nebulae tend to be, and I think if I were reading on this right, it's about a light year across. And that's about it. Beyond that, they cannot ionize. But that's quite a distance to ionize. That's an awful hot star. That's an awful lot of energy. And it kind of gives you an idea of how much energy a white dwarf contains. You know, it is really quite a compact object in spite of the fact that it's about the size of the Earth. You know, when it was, a star that was much bigger. Now, obviously, a lot of the volume of the star was blown off in the gas. And basically, the white dwarf is the stellar core that's left over that did not go supernova. It just sloughed off its outer layers. But look at the dumbbell just sitting out there in the middle of space, all alone. You know, I just I love
it. It always
things.
amazes me that that white dwarf is the center of the dumbbell. That's no bigger than the planet Earth, yet we can still see it.
That's right. That's how hot it is from the distance it is. And I think when we look at the dumbbell, I think we're talking about 860 light years, or so. To the dumbbell.
Say so.
Yeah. Yeah.
On your stellarium view right there, that's a little constellation below the dumbbell. That's called Sagitta.
Yep.
That's the arrow. Do you see the arrow there, people?
Indeed. There it is.
See the fletching, the tail's there on the right, and there's the head of the arrow on the upper left.
Yep. Amanda
Whose
likes.
arrow is that?
Huh?
Whose arrow is that?
Oh, I think that's debatable. I do not think it's Sagittarius's arrow. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is.
Well, if it is, he really kind of went off course.
Yeah, but I think he's facing the other way.
Yeah. That's beautiful. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if we can do this. I'm not sure we can. We're going to go look at the Crescent Nebula now. We're just running all over the place because it's really enjoyable tonight. And thanks for coming along, guys. I think this is really neat to have you along. And I'm looking... The observatory, we might be hitting the dome right here. But not hitting, but like having the dome in the way. But it's also an illusion because that part of the dome is behind the telescope when it's pointing straight up. And we're not pointing straight up yet, so it's probably an illusion, which is why we still see stars. The Crescent Nebula is here, and I want to go to 10,000. And the Crescent we saw last time was about this big in the main telescope. And now let's see how big the Crescent is. All right, 8 seconds at 10,000. We'll see a little bit of the Crescent Nebula.
Gee, Mal, it sure would be great if we had some grenades, huh? I don't know if you get that movie reference or not. That was from Serenity, the movie follow-up to Firefly.
Oh, Firefly, yeah.
I guess I was making a crack about, gee, Mal, it sure would be nice if we had motorized that dome, huh?
I get it. But I'm okay going out there because, for the expense and the aggravation of motorizing both the dome rotation and the shutter opening and closing, I can just go out and open and move it around and then have my roll-off roof that I can operate from 2,500 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the Crescent right here. We do have the dome impinging on the field a little bit, as I thought. So we kind of... that's unfortunate, but you can actually see that. It kind of makes it look like a gigantic nebula, doesn't it? But it's not. There's the Crescent. You can see it. But if you want, I can go and move the dome and then get us in order for looking at some of the other things, okay?
Sure.
Because I'd like to actually check the veil out, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll be right back. And I think the moon's going to be rising soon. I'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you for your efforts, Mark.
Oh, it's okay. I can't wait to do more.
I've said this before, folks, while Mark is gone. If you could step outside and see Sagittarius right now, you'll see the teapot tipping over toward the right, and it's pouring the tea now. And The steam coming out of the spout of the teapot is the Milky Way. And the Milky Way runs from the spout of the teapot in Sagittarius up across the sky, following the same path Mark has wandered up tonight, kind of up and to the left, until now he's looking almost overhead, if not already overhead. If you could see the teapot, and if you pointed your right arm straight at the teapot, let's say it's level, and then you point your left arm straight up, it would be pointing in the direction Mark is looking now, which is in the constellation of Cygnus, the Swan, which is Deneb, the brightest star in the Summer Triangle also, is pretty much straight overhead for him right now. And when you do that, well, your arm is describing a right angle, okay? Your left arm is up, your right arm is horizontal, and that's a 90-degree angle between the two of them. And you're literally, when you look up towards Cygnus, you're looking 90 degrees away from the center of the galaxy. You're looking out toward the next spiral arm of the Milky Way. Amanda, I hope I get to share the sky with you some night. I'll show you all this, and
that'd be awesome.
I think you'd cry.
Aww.
Take you on a interstellar journey.
That'd be awesome.
Welcome back, Mark.
Thank you. Look at this. Okay, now we see.
Yeah, I was disappointed Mark wasn't out at night with us. I mean, I know he was busy during Pine Bush, but I thought we were gonna look at some stars out there. Show me a thing or two.
Where's this? Oh, at Pine Bush?
At Pine Bush, yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
That's how I lost my phone. I was looking at the sky with Charles and Ronald using Sky Map on my phone. And then I went to put it away, and it was never to be seen again.
Well, when Bill throws away the couch, he's going to open that couch up and look inside.
It's not in the couch.
Huh?
It's not in the couch.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
Wow.
The last place I put it was in the closet. If anything, it's in there somewhere.
In the closet?
Must be. Well, I put it in my suitcase, and it's not there, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Or you can also image the North America Nebula. But first, I want to take us down to the Eastern Veil and check it out. It looks so small and insignificant, but it's not. It's actually quite an amazing supernova remnant. Excuse me. All right, 15 seconds at 10,000. Here we go. Boy, it's ultra quiet over there. What's going on?
Where?
Here
Just
you
waiting for the next picture to come up.
Wow. Oh, look at this. Okay. We're going to just readjust here. I'll come back to this in a second, folks. All right. I'm going to take us down a little bit more. Bring it up into the field a little more. And if I go west a little bit, wonder if I can catch the other side of it. Excuse me. So that was the Eastern Veil that we were looking at right there, and it's right here. Okay, and it's just beautiful. And here is the updated version right there. And you'll notice there's one right here. That's actually... Oh, that's so cool. I've never seen that before. Daryl, I believe this is the central part of the veil. This is because it's a supernova and it's circular like this.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to make it more visible. All right.
And one more time, can you run through the equipment that you're using? We have some newcomers that are interested.
Okay, sure. Tonight we are using the 5-inch refractor mounted on the main telescopic instrument, which is a 10-inch f6.3 Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope. So we have a 5-inch rich field refractor on top of a 10-inch. Really, it's research quality after everything we put into it. Telescope in the dome, and the dome is automated. So we're running this from our warm room. You can see in the Dome Ops, which is available in this view. You can see me down here. Hello. Okay, that's me inside operating the telescope, which is outside. And we actually have a number of instruments outside. We have a spectroscopic capability to look at the spectra of the stars, which we're not using lately. We're just doing visual stuff right now, and it's just beautiful. And right now, we're looking up in literally almost straight overhead. This is Cygnus, and Cygnus the Swan, and you can see that we're looking almost directly overhead. Okay, and this for Cygnus the Swan, this is where the Swan is. Okay, and the parlance, Cygnus is the Northern Cross, and this is the cross right here. Okay, it's made up of these stars and these stars. And Alberio, the eye of the swan down here, this is the actual, this is actually the beautiful blue and orange double star that we will often go check out. And right now we're looking at the Veil Nebula, which is a supernova remnant that's in here, in the Cygnus. And we are actually looking at this piece right here and this piece right here. Okay, we're looking at this and this. So our view is encompassing this. And how do we know? Because when we go back to this view, okay, we can actually see that part right here. It's just, I'm going to move us over to see it in this part. Let me just move us over here a little bit. I really want you to see this because I am really unbelievable. This is great. The veil is actually quite large. All right. So we'll do another 15-second shot here, and you'll see it shift over.
I'm sure that'll really jump out after the dark of the moon.
Yeah, see, and you can see this is the central veil, the thing that we're looking at in the planetarium shot. This is the eastern veil. And now the other side of the veil is going to be that. There we go. So now we see it all. Here we go, folks. Down here, this is 52 Cygni, and this is the spindle part of the Veil Nebula. Okay, this is the central veil, which is fainter, and then this is the eastern veil right here. This is the extent of the supernova right here. There was a star in the middle here, and it went boom, and it blew up, and this is the material that has been moving out for many, many, many hundreds of millions of years. And as it moves out, it's creating a shock front. As it impacts other stuff in the interstellar medium, it causes other things to happen. It will cause other stars to form. And perhaps this star right here formed that way. So it's really a very interesting, thing here. So I'm thinking that, in fact, that perhaps, and I'm going to do it this way. Let me see if I can get us there. Yeah, no, this won't do it. Okay. What I'm really liking, though, here is the fact that we actually see the entire veil in one shot. This is the first time that I've ever seen this. Just so you know, I've never seen it before.
Wow, very good.
Very first time. And I'm now I want to get some photos to actually work on this and give us all something to look at. So I'm going to bring us up to our wonderful mode here, and I gotta be careful. I gotta really hurry because I don't want the moon to ruin the view here. We're gonna head east a little bit more. Nope, I meant west. My other east. Okay, there we go. Okay, and a little jog more. Now we're gonna try that for 15 seconds. If that works, we're gonna take a few more, and then I'm gonna stack those and pull the nebula out so you can see just what we're looking at. And that's gonna be beautiful. You can see why I like the 5-inch rich field refractor, because we can see these vast, pieces of these vast, wonderful stellar anomalies. We can see them all in one shot. Central Veil, Western Veil, okay, Eastern Veil. Look at that. This is a supernova. This is the remnant of a supernova. And usually in SkyTour LiveStream, we look at just this or just this. This takes up this much of the screen when we see it. Just this one little spindle and 52 Cygni. This, we only see about this much of it. We can't see the whole thing. But if you can see now, we can actually see the Central Veil in the Western and Eastern. I am astonished. I've never seen this before, guys. Never seen this.
That's way cool.
It is.
Never seen it
really,
before.
really cool.
I bet this refractor would work great on Andromeda, too. M31, Mark.
I did. I did on Andromeda. I've got a full-scale view of it, and it's beautiful. I'm going to do 20 seconds at 10,000 now, and if this works, I'm going to do a few of these for stacking purposes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Andromeda fills the field of view here, and
right.
It's up. I'd have to move the dome again, but I've never seen the veil like this. So,
no, maybe a little later in the season.
Yeah, when Andromeda is actually at the zenith, it's just stunning.
Yes.
Oh, look at this. Okay,
I'm
now
sure the refractor would work well on Orion Nebula also.
Oh yeah, Orion Nebula is beautiful with this because you see the Running Man with it.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's the thing. Look at the color. See, now the color comes in. Look at the color of this little spindle. It's green now. You can see the greenish. Okay? And you see the colors here. See you have to reach that threshold. Look at the colors down here. Look at the greens and the reds. Oh my god.
Listen,
huh?
I have a stupid question.
You never have asked a stupid question in the whole time I've known you, so this better be a good one.
It might be.
If it's stupid, I'll let you know, but I've never heard you ask a stupid question.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you said it before and I just missed it or something. If we're seeing this, like we're seeing so much more sky because of a filter, because of a new filter you're using?
That's correct.
Or are you using a new telescope?
This is a different telescope, but I'm also using the new filter on that telescope. Look at the colors. Look at this. This is stunning.
I know, but aside from the color, like seeing both sides of the Veil Nebula.
Yeah.
How are you able to do that using a filter? How is that opening up? That's the distance you can see. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I have another telescope out there that's a wider field than the main instrument we have been using.
That's what I was wondering. Like, if it's the same telescope, how all of a sudden is it seeing so much more?
Yeah. Hello, Kathy. Yeah. Nice to see you.
Yeah. It's he's using the refractor tonight, Amanda.
Okay.
And that's a relatively low power, wider field of view instrument. His 10-inch telescope has a longer focal length, a greater aperture, and it shows a rather smaller field of view than the refractor does. So, at a higher native power. So what you're seeing with the refractor tonight is just a low power wide field view, and he can grab the entire veil in one shot, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And the filter just brings out the hydrogen and the oxygen and the neon or whatever in the shock front of the supernova remnant you see there.
And the shock front is the leading edge of this curve here. And it's also along here. Now, if space was the same everywhere, then where this expanded, I'll come back to this after I hit go again. When the shock front was first made, it would be even all the way around if space was the same everywhere, but it's not. Space has different density of material in it. Sometimes there's dust grains in some places. Other times, it's not. Like here. This guy here, this spindle here, this is actually compressed and bright. The reason is because it's being slowed down by other material that's in the way, and so it's slowing down the material. And because it's slowing down the material, it starts to compress, and of course causes the glow as this material heats up. You can see this one has become. Forced to be, it's forced to segregate and separate, and it forms little filaments along the way This is because the space out here is not the same, and it's causing a similar thing to occur, and it's separating and causing the gas clouds to glow from the shock and the impact shock, because the stuff is moving fast. But if you think about it, this started from a point. All of this started from a point and spread out as the star blew up. Okay?
So I have more on that, but before I lose it, Mirko wants to know how far away this is and how wide it is.
Well, this one is actually, the thing about the veil is it's actually fairly close, relatively speaking. It's only 1,470 light years away. All right? And we're seeing, like I said, this part, and this part. We're seeing all this. Now, I'm going to see if I can pick up some more of this stuff when I do the processing in here after, but I may not be able to because of just the natural limitations I have in the scope right now. But as you can see, this is really quite stunning. And I'm beside myself, actually, at how beautiful it is. And I'm tempted to go even higher ISO, but I think this is the limit because I don't want to ruin these subtle features, you know?
Mark, when you can see the entirety of the veil like that, that is bigger in the sky than the moon, isn't it?
Actually, we can measure that exactly, Daryl. If we just go to here, all right, and we take a look, there's a measurement tool. Where is my measurement tool? What is it? I thought it was A, but that's atmosphere. There is a measurement tool in here that I can use to actually measure this. But actually, we can figure it out. We can just do this. Okay. And now you'll see this is degrees right here. So this is 10, not 10. Where are we? We're at 32. So this is 1 degree right to here. Now the moon is half degree. So this is 1 degree. So clearly this is bigger than the full moon by far.
Yeah. That's better than 2.
Yeah.
2 degrees.
At least. Yeah.
That's big.
It is. And I'm just, I can't, it's like I can't get enough. I want to stay looking at this, but I know I have to keep taking pictures so I can stack and get this to look beautiful. This is going to be a gorgeous photo, guys. This is going to be really, really pretty. This will be hopefully the wall hanger. This is the one that people want to put on the wall when they get it done. And knowing how well it's working with the 5-inch refractor, I'm going to take many more shots of it offline and be able to stack a lot of these together, and then we'll be able to see even more detail.
Yeah, I hope you share it when you get it composed and assembled.
No, it's all mine. Yeah, no, of course. I share all these for free. Everyone knows that. I don't have any expectations of selling them. People say, "Oh, you should put together a book." Well, you know what? I could, but you know something? There's so many people that do these things, and they're just as good, if not far better, in some ways. And I'm totally okay with letting them have their moments in the sun, because they all deserve it. Really, really good technicians out there that do this stuff. Including you, Daryl.
Hmm?
Including you. You're good at this too.
Oh. Well, it's not my fault. I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. You can't prove a thing.
Nobody saw me do it. You can't prove a thing.
That's another Simpsons reference, of course.
Yes. I was with the animator of The Simpsons this past week in Phoenix. He was there, Dale. He's the guy that does the animating for The Simpsons and Futurama. And he's a friend of mine. He and his wife, Pam. And it was kind of fun. He's a very quiet guy, but man, he can draw his butt off. He's so good.
Cool.
Yeah, but don't ask him to imitate Bart Simpson, because he can't.
Curtis has a question.
Sure.
How do you do live stacking with a tool like SharpCap? Do you use SharpCap?
I don't actually, Curtis.
SharpCap? Okay.
And I don't do live stacking in camera at all. I know that the camera is capable of it, but I don't do that. And the reason is because you always there's problems. You have to weed out the bad images, and if you can't weed out the bad images, then you get a stacked conglomeration of really bad images sometimes. And you're only as good as your equipment, so I'd rather do that manually. But I haven't used Sharp Cap, no. Yeah, Carolina. Yeah, it's amazing, right? You just stare at the screen. It's like, wow, I just want that on my ceiling. And I kind of got in trouble with my mom one time when I was living at home because I just decided on a whim that I was going to paint the sky on my bedroom ceiling. And I did it with glow-in-the-dark paint, so she wouldn't know I was doing it. So the only reason she found out is because I used a slightly dirty brush when I did the Milky Way. And there was this dull brownish patch going across the ceiling that, unfortunately, it was, well, it was my Milky Way that was kind of leaching a little bit of the previous paint that was on the brush onto my ceiling. Oh. Yeah, and that kind of stunk. But I put 3,000 stars on my bedroom ceiling, exactly where they belong.
That's amazing.
And when you turned off the lights, you'd swear the roof was lifted off the house. And I'm not proud. I cried when I first saw it because I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. Wow. So stunning.
Everyone wants that, to be able to sleep under the stars.
Yeah. And I didn't have to worry about the
safety of their own room.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about mosquitoes and bears and other things, So yeah, it was just beautiful, guys. And I had such a beautiful room for that. And I really enjoyed doing the stars. I stayed in my room for 2 solid days, 47 hours actually, continuous hours. Oh, look at the satellite. Right to the view. Go. See, now for astronomers like us, okay, this ruins our view. This is a throwaway. Other people say, wow, cool, a satellite. And yeah, it has a certain amount of coolness, but it's a human-made interloper that ruins our image, And if you're doing research on the nebula here, the satellite ruins it, and you can't do research. You gotta just get more images, and you throw it away. Pretty as it might be.
If something major was going on in space.
Thank you, Joanna.
Like with that black hole.
Yeah.
Where a whole bunch of different telescopes around Earth were aiming at it. Could there be something done to reroute where the satellites go so it doesn't interfere for 24 hours? Could it reroute it somewhere?
I wish.
Satellites?
You know
Is
what?
there such a technology?
I wish there was, Amanda, and unfortunately there isn't.
I think so.
And the reason
they're
there
kind
isn't.
Of free orbiting, aren't they?
Well, not so much free, because you can make some minor adjustments to the satellite orbits, usually in altitude. But the truth is, unfortunately, the satellite orbits are very, very precise. And so monkeying with a satellite orbit is just what we say, right out. It's something you just wouldn't do. You just can't do that, unfortunately.
There are a few exceptions. The the keyhole satellites, I think we talked about earlier. Yeah, they can change orbit and inclination and all that sort of thing, but that's the Defense Department for you with an unlimited budget.
Well, yeah, but see, that's also for a very different purpose. What she's talking about is, do the run-of-the-mill satellites have the ability to change their orbits to allow, for instance, the Event Horizon Telescope, which is what she was talking about, to image the black holes and so forth? And the answer is no. We don't have that ability to do that.
I understand.
Yeah, but I know that the Event Horizon Telescope is actually multiple radio telescopes around the world, and it's going to be imaging Sagittarius A, the black hole in the center of our galaxy, next. It's actually already been doing it.
Yeah, and I dare say with the Event Horizon Telescope, if they're watching all over the world, what shows up on one, if it doesn't show up on another, at a different location, they could probably just wipe that as noise.
Yeah.
Like a satellite, if it passed through the field of view of one of the telescopes, though they're actually radio telescopes anyway, so I don't know if it'd make a difference after all at all.
Yeah, I know, you're probably right. Gosh, I'm sorry, I'm still beside myself here because I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing the whole veil for the first time in my life. I'm doing it here tonight with you guys live. All of you watching.
Mark, the bright star at the bottom right corner of the screen, I believe, is illuminating the western veil there.
That's 52 Cygni, yeah.
Okay, what's the number on it again?
52 Cygni.
52 Cygni, right. I was wanting to call it 61 Cygni, but that's a different star, I think.
It is.
Okay, cool. That is illuminating the western veil?
Yeah, in part, but it's not. I don't think it's responsible for all the illumination. But and I don't think it's a star that came about because of that. I think it came about and the western veil was impacting it. But I could be wrong. We have to look at that. Oh wow, hey, stop. I have to look that up. Okay. And guys, bear with me here because I'm getting these shots of the veil before the moon interferes. Because I am I can't tell you enough how amazing this view is.
I hope I'm not being a pest or distracting you.
In what way? I invited you on because
you bring so much to the show, Daryl.
Yeah, it's like I told Amanda yesterday. Okay, SkyTour LiveStream isn't the same without her. And I made it clear that that's very important that she's around for this. But the trouble is, that's what I meant because I was very clear about it afterwards.
I do now. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, I'm missing Forest and Fire tonight to be here.
You missed what? You missed what?
Better than me. I refuse to miss American Ninja Warrior Monday for this.
Yeah, well, I'll catch it on the repeat later tonight or next week.
Yeah, I didn't have the option for a repeat.
You didn't?
To watch it later? No.
Why?
Because it was, not live. I mean, it was taped in advance, but it was live Monday night.
Okay, I got you.
It might have been on.
I got you.
Friday, but Drew Dreschel won $1 million.
Yay, Drew! I'm happy.
Drew! It's about time, dude.
I don't even know who that is.
Him and his girlfriend have a bun in the oven too, so I bet that money will come in handy.
There's a baby ninja on the way.
Yeah. And the show is over until next year, so I guess we have Monday nights free now, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I can stream again.
Streaming Monday. Give me a call.
Yeah, well, every time I stream, I ask if you can come around. And
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure, you've had a lot to do and had a lot of things you've been doing, so sometimes our schedules line up, sometimes they don't. But you're always on SkyTour Radio every Sunday night at 8 on KGRA Radio with us because you're the co-host of that with me. Daryl joins us all the time as well because he adds an immeasurable amount to that broadcast, which, he'll just sit there and go, oh, but he knows it. He knows he's valuable. Yep, he knows he's valuable. I'm glad you chose to finally come on that, Gerald, because SkyTour Radio hasn't been the same, since you joined us. It's been far better than before.
Oh, on the radio? Oh, on KGRA?
Radio. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to be there. I like the casual nature of the SkyTour LiveStream. I can make noise and belch and fart and stuff like that, and I guess it doesn't matter so much. Hopefully it doesn't, or you haven't heard me do it yet. It's just more casual and fun and relaxed. And, get to hang out and talk about things of interest we see along the way.
Yes, but bodily noises are still not acceptable. Like that.
Let me see what I can work up here.
They're not acceptable.
Well, you know what I mean. And I'm sure I'm rusty because we haven't done a KJRA show in a while that I'll probably be missing the mute button a few times. So bear with me. I'll get back in the groove.
I'm not worried about it. No one's worried
I'm
about you.
always so much more nervous on the radio than I am here, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, well, on the radio, we're typically number 3 or 4 for our time slot on Sunday nights from 8 to 10. And that's with iHeartRadio and TalkStream Live. And we do reach, about 3 million people a month. So that's not hay. That's a serious concern. That's a serious radio show.
I want to raise.
Me too. You know?
Mark, when you're done with that, okay, stop right there for a second.
Sure.
Look again down to the lower left of that bright star in the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner.
Yeah.
To its lower left.
Okay.
Is there something going on there, or is that just a chance? Right there, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I see it better now. Yeah, that's just stars. Never mind.
Yeah, those are stars that you can see here.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, never mind.
Well, no, now that you got it going, we're going to investigate. Yeah, see stars. But I'm going to say that I don't know, I can't say it enough. I'm just beside myself. This is just, you know what, this is what happens when I see something for the very first time in my life ever. I've never seen in my entire life, I've never seen the entire supernova remnant of the veil. And here it is. And we even see the middle veil, which I've seen only one time in SkyTour LiveStream. Only one time, and it was still very faint. And this is a lot brighter than it was. So I'm really looking forward to pulling this out.
Sure.
This is going to be just beautiful.
Yeah.
That's just giving me chills. Oh, no, wait, that's the cold. I am getting chills, though, from looking at this. I'm just going to take a couple more, and then we'll move on. I do want to get to the North America Nebula, because I suspect we'll be able to see that as well. And the Gamma Cygni Nebula as well. Gamma Cygni is probably stunning, too. Gamma Cygni, the central star in the cross.
Yeah, also known as Sadr,
That's right.
Sadr, S-A-D-R. It's the middle star in the cross.
Yep. And there's a beautiful nebula on either side of that. That's just beautiful. Ah. Okay, so. Okay, well, I think I have enough to do this, but I'm going to do one more just because. One more 20-second shot, and then we'll move on. And where we're going to move on to, well, I'll show you. We back away from the veil, and we move up a little. And here is the Gamma Cygni region, and there's a beautiful nebula right there that is really pretty. But first, we're going to go here, and we're going to look at the North America Nebula. It's not the North American. That's something that people will say, but we have a view like this now for this. So when we go here, it's going to really be pretty. So how are we going? How are we doing here? Okay, this is good. So off we go. We're going to show up here now. We're going to this particular region of the North America Nebula. And here we are. Up we go. And telescope. How are we doing with the telescope? Oh, it looks good. Looks very good. Yep. Very good. All right. And now let's halt us right here. Move us a little bit east and then jog back to the west. Okay.
When you see the North America Nebula and the Pelican Nebula next to it, that's all being excited and shining by energy from the star Deneb to the upper right, is it not?
Which is a type A star, which Amanda understands the spectral classes, right, Amanda? So where does A fall in our scale?
Pretty high up, so it would be larger, maybe not blue, maybe a whitish.
Wow. Correct.
Not the largest, but third largest, maybe.
That's correct. Third, well, bright is most
pretty hot.
temperature wise, yeah.
Pretty hot.
Look at this. This is we're gonna capture this now. We're gonna go back and drop down a little bit on pull in the Mexico side of the North American Nebula. Okay, that's what we're looking at right here. And I think I'm going to go 12,800 and pull this in now. I did this shot last year, and the results were absolutely stupendous. And I'm really certain that we're going to be able to capture a lot of it tonight. Thanks, Raymond. But Raymond, you already did it. You can't do this again, man. We're already loving you, brother. Thank you.
And our KGRA show is called SkyTour Radio.
That's right.
And you can hear it at 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday nights.
8 p.m.
KGRAradio.com.
Yeah, KGRAradio.com. Look at this. This is the southern part of the North American Nebula. You can see this beautiful nebula down here. This is going to show up great. Here's the Pelican Nebula out here. Here's Florida. And North America's up there. And then Mexico is this part. This is probably one of the quintessential nebula that people want to see in the night sky. And I can't say anything bad about it because this particular nebula, again, until SkyTour LiveStream, Raymond, you're on a tear, man. Wow.
And thank you,
and
Justin.
Thank you,
I
brother.
see you in there, too.
Holy cow. Gosh,
thank you very much,
I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. The wide field views of the Milky Way can just excite people, too, you know, and look at this nebula. It's just so beautiful, and you can't deny what you're seeing, you know. We can't deny what we're seeing. And I go back to start up another exposure, then I pop back. And let me see if I can... not this.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Mark, while you're imaging, could you step back out to the stellarium view for a second?
Yes.
Okay, there's Deneb there at the right. You can see the nebula, as Mark described it, North America. And now the Pelican, that thing sitting to the right. You see the beak of the Pelican at the upper left, and his head and his eye, and that's his body down below. That's the Pelican.
Yep. That's right. And we can see that here. Here's the Pelican. Here's the Pelican. Okay, this is Florida. This is Mexico. This is the Pelican Nebula over here. Now, it doesn't look as defined, but that's because the images in Stellarium are also processed. They're not just native. We can see almost what you can see in Stellarium. We can actually see it here, which is really quite astonishing. This is really beautiful.
And if you build a finished image, it'll probably look better than a Stellarium.
It's going to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have a finished image of this that's just knock your socks off beautiful. Especially the Mexico part. I even zoomed in on it. You can see amazing tendrils of black dust and other gas that's illuminated. It's just stupendous, you know. Raymond, look at him go.
Oh.
Jeez.
Gonna be eating cat food all month.
Daryl's coffee. You guys are
Thank
so
you.
funny. Oh my gosh, this is something. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a number of these to get this underway. Then gotta make sure that we get the.
Thank you, Raymond.
Gotta make sure that we get the Gamma Cygni Nebula in there too.
And again, when you see this, folks, the North America and the Pelican nebulas, they're all shining because of Deneb up there to the upper right. It's out of view in this view, but just to the upper right
just up
here.
There, yeah, it's just out of view.
And that's all shining because of Deneb, which is a huge bright star a long ways away.
Yep.
An A star, in fact, isn't it, Amanda?
It is. In fact, the entire summer triangle is made up of A stars. And one of those stars is a giant. Do you know which one? Is it Vega?
Deneb.
Is it Altair? Oh, see, you don't even let me ask.
Well, I know Deneb is bright as the other two, and it's much farther away. When you see Vega's what, 25 light years away?
Yeah, like 26 or so, yeah.
And when you see Deneb, I think you're looking at a star 1,500 light years away or something like that.
Yeah, and it's actually a giant, and Altair is not a giant like Deneb, and it's just Altair and Vega, I believe, are regular, luminosity class 5, Roman numeral 5, which means that they're just fusing hydrogen into helium in their cores, just like our sun. But we also have Deneb, which is just a amazingly large giant star that's not the biggest, but it's definitely one on the way, And
could you back out to Stellarium one more time?
Yeah, I can.
And when you see Deneb, can you back out one or two more steps, Mark? Deneb is the tail of the swan.
Yeah.
The word Deneb means tail. There you go. Deneb is the tail of the swan, and Alberio is the head of the swan. And Sada there in the middle, that's like his center of gravity, I guess, or his breastbone, maybe. Geez, I lost my train. Okay, Deneb. Deneb means tail, and there are actually other stars in the sky named Deneb. The tail of Leo the lion is called Denebola.
Right.
Tail of the lion.
That's right.
And a little later in the evening here, if you were to sweep down to the southeast, from where Mark is looking now, Cetus the whale is rising, the monster from the Perseus Andromeda story, and the tail of the whale is called Deneb Kaitos.
That's right.
The Greeks said K instead of C for Cetus, but it means the same thing, Kaitos and Cetus. And when you see the tail of the whale, well, it's Deneb Kaitos. And they're all named Deneb. There are other Denebs in the sky too, I believe.
Yeah. So
one last thing, when you see Deneb, though that's the tail of the swan, that is the head of the Northern Cross.
That's correct. The asterism.
Alberio is the foot of the cross, but the head of the swan.
Right, the asterism that is the Northern Cross.
Yes.
Yes, within Cygnus the Swan.
Yes.
Yep. So you see, you guys don't have to understand all the constellations and so forth, but it is kind of interesting to understand some of the mythology and where it comes from, because that's something, for instance, that Amanda likes.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, yeah. The stories help me remember, and they help me remember what is next to what and how they all connect, and I just have a better chance of remembering names and what they're supposed to be, and
imagine you're sitting around a campfire a couple thousand years ago.
Yeah.
You didn't have a TV, you didn't have a cell phone, you weren't a zombie,
and you didn't have light pollution.
Yeah, you put your stories up in the sky, and Cygnus was a story. All the constellations have stories.
That's right.
And they teach us who we are and where we came from.
That is exactly right. Boy, this is such a rich area, and I'm feeling really kind of pressured to get down to the Gamma Cygni. Oh, look at that! Zoom. See that satellite?
Ooh!
Wow, cool.
Nice, folks. Do you see that? That was really cool.
Yeah, a little satellite zipping through, and it's on record. We have it because it's on the stream. Okay, one more photo, and then off we go to the Gamma Cygni Nebula, which is the nebula that is right here in the middle of the Swan. And because we're using our wonderful filter, we should be able to see it. And we should be able to see. I'm just really impressed with this. I'm just in the veil. I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be another night of not getting to bed again, because I stay up until they're all processed. I simply cannot go to bed until it's done.
That's dedication.
I say, in case somebody calls it that, okay, dedication. Maybe it's a sickness.
Compulsion.
What?
A compulsion.
Yeah. It's not OCD, though. It's not an obsessive compulsive thing, but okay, one more shot. Just one more.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Just one more shot. Just one more.
One more. It's always one more.
It is. It's always one more. And by the way, since this doesn't have the electric focuser on it, I focus it once for the night and then leave it. So as the temperature changes, the focus changes. So I'm trying to get some good shots in before the focus starts to slightly change. Right now, we're doing pretty good, as you can see. Our stars are really nice little dots, and they're okay. Moon might be up already, but the nebula filter that we're using will probably still keep us fairly moon free. It's on the other side of the.
Aw, thank you. I get a tea too.
The satellite fee for Amanda's coffee or tea. Thank you, Ray.
She likes French vanilla, Raymond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I can tell you this, okay. As you can see, these are people that really appreciate what we do for them, and I can't thank you guys enough. And I'm talking to Amanda and Daryl for being here to help make this work, and then I can't thank our wonderful viewers. You guys are spectacular. I'm just an ordinary guy, living in an ordinary observatory with an ordinary observatory on my front lawn. Okay, I'm not so ordinary. I get it.
I've never been convicted of a felony.
Yeah, Curtis. Yes,
I'm okay.
You are.
We wouldn't be anything without the loyal fan base. I think they're great.
They are. And that's like the third time you said you haven't been convicted of a felony, Daryl. Is there something you want to tell us?
No.
Okay.
Convicted being the operative word.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should reconsider this now. No. I was actually, if you call it close to arrested, I was arrested as a 12-year-old. Amanda knows the story.
I was gonna say, I think I know why.
Oh, Rocket Man, thank you, man.
Well, thank you, Rocket Man.
Thank you. I'm humbled by you guys. Thank you so much.
Amanda must have put on some perfume tonight.
I think that the people just really like these wide field views of nebulae. I mean, they're really stunning.
They are.
Did I say one more? This is like the third one after that.
I like when people send in questions.
That's
what I like. Audience participation.
Yeah.
Because there's I see some questions and they make me think like so many different things, and then it gets me thinking and asking questions, and I mean I might take it like really far off course to what the original question was, but just the way people look at certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether they're on the right track or not, it's like, well, what made them think that in the first place, and where can we go with that? And
Yep.
It's awesome. I love the people here. I love this community. I always say that.
Me too. And I feel wonderful that our little stream here helped shape some of the community.
Sure.
There's a certain type of person.
People know it's a safe place, and that you're an easygoing person that's gonna help steer them in the right direction. And
yeah.
Can I tell a little story?
Yeah, I just have to say. Let me say one thing there before you do. I've been trying to answer this for Curtis. Curtis Horn asked if this is an H-alpha filter. Yes, in part. This has a bandpass for H-alpha, as well as oxygen 3 and the sulfur region. So we're actually getting 3 in 1, and at the same time, it's excluding some of the sodium lights as well. And that's so it's really working for us in that regard. That said, Daryl, tell your story while I jump down now to Solder and the Gamma Cygni Nebula.
Okay. Well, it just what Amanda was saying, that I have seen members of our audience have those aha moments from time to time. And I remember back when I did public programs in astronomy a long time ago, I might be talking to a crowd of 50 or 100 people, and I would see if one person rang their bell, if that light bulb went off over someone's head,
Yep.
And even if it was just one person in 100, I considered that night a success. That I had managed to get through to somebody.
Yeah. And
And
you know
that is
how
the
good
best
it
part of all.
feels. Yeah, you know how good it feels.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Gamma
That
Cygni
and
coming in the first
people,
exposure.
That and when people would,
Oh,
they would
wow.
be at the head of the line, they'd look through the telescope, then they'd immediately run back to the back of the line to get in line to look through it again.
Yeah. Look at
That was
this.
always good, too.
Look at this, Daryl. Look.
Yes, I see
The
that.
Gamma Cygni Nebula, just like that. And I'm actually gonna realign this a little bit here.
I bet you're going to take more pictures, too, aren't you?
Who, me?
You.
Oh, maybe 2, 3,
No, I think it's great. That's beautiful.
30. Yeah, it is really pretty. Okay. Yeah, see, this is why this stuff works, guys. This stuff works because we get to we get to experiment with stuff. I mean, what you're seeing is a culmination of years of experimentation to know exactly what filter to use and to go through the different skill sets that I've had to learn to try and figure out the best possible formula for getting dynamic stuff like you see right here in front of you. This is it. Okay, to get this nebula in here isn't a matter of just pointing at a scope and taking a picture. There's technique, there's understanding of the exposure and the filtering, the amount of atmosphere we're looking at, the starlight we're looking through. It's just, I'm sorry, the air glow and so forth that we're looking through. There's a lot of different factors, and when I look at this stuff, I look at this blue part actually is this is the noise. Okay, we zoom in, okay, and you can see the noise. See that? Yeah, that's all ugly stuff. We want to get rid of that. So I've worked out a way to get rid of all that noise without compromising the data. And that's where all the effort has gone, is to try and get those final pictures that are just beautiful. And then I make them available to you for free because I can't imagine have people pay for their photos, and I'm not one of those people. I think that science is within reach of everyone, like I've said, and to be able to know that to be able to experience science like that, you have to have someone willing to give you something, that's related, and that's what I do. I give it away because that's the only way you're going to learn science. In your on your terms, I should say. Raymond, look at you.
Raymond's on drugs.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what that drug is? That drug is starlight.
Hey. Thank you, Raymond.
Yeah, thank you,
Wow,
Ray.
Raymond.
Folks, excuse me just a moment, please.
Sure. So you see this.
Really appreciative, Raymond. Thank you very much.
It's wonderful, Raymond. I'm looking at the screen, and all of a sudden I see this color show up on my right. And what's that? It's like, oh man, these guys are just wonderful. So then, here we have Gamma Cygni right here. This is Sadr, that star, SADR. And then we have this nebula over here. Now you might say, well, there's nothing in between here. Okay, like over here. So this is Sadr.
Uh-huh.
And you might say, well, there's nothing in between here. But that's not true.
But I would be wrong.
Yes, you'd be wrong. This is actually what's called dark nebula. It's actually dust, okay, that's in here that is part of our galactic disk. And this dust is blocking the nebula that's actually behind it. So this is sort of like a little tongue of dark material that's blocking the rest of the glow from coming through. This really goes the whole way, and then some. But this is blocking it. So that's what's really interesting about the galaxy. Is that when we look at it, we see things that that look like voids that aren't voids. Not at all. They're not voids at all. This is going to be the nicest Gamma Cygni image I've ever taken, I think. Joanna, you do give. You know how? You're here. And, we love you for that. I'm really very, very humbled and pleased that you come along. So, I do want to thank you and everybody else actually who comes along. I don't do this to have people donate money. I do this because I want to show people the beauty of the night sky. And I think
and if you want to help the station in a non-monetary form, tell a friend, share it on your social media, share it on Facebook, Twitter, get the word out.
Yeah,
that definitely helps.
Oh, for sure. If we get up to, we're at 3,123 subscribers as of tonight.
Wow.
That's amazing, considering that we had 175 a couple years ago. You know.
Yeah, make sure you hit the bell beside the subscribe button and turn on the notifications, and then anytime we go live, you can come join us. We can't really say, we'll be on a certain day at a certain time because it depends on the weather, right? So
yeah.
That's one way to stay on top of our live streams.
Yeah.
Mark does armchair astronomy too on cloudy nights sometimes.
That's true.
That's true. We've played with Space Engine, and the Space Engine's neat because it has this. It's a 3D universe where everything's 3D in the right places and so forth, and so you can go, for instance, to Alpha Centauri and then orbit around Alpha Centauri and do all kinds of cool things. But to do that, you can do it in a mode where you're not, floating and going like easily floating from one thing to another seamlessly and gently. You can do it where it's all harsh and sharp moves. So it's more like a computer program. But if you go more like a spacecraft, where you can float by the thing you're looking at if you don't reverse course a little bit or pump the thrust in the other direction. And that's the mode I use a lot in this Space Engine product, because in Space Engine we can go anywhere, and I just love the opera, the beauty of floating around an object in space in 3D. We can go around the Dumbbell Nebula, circle it, and see it in 3D. We can zip around the Pleiades and see what they look like, complete with their blue nebulous cloud of dust that they are illuminating. And circle it in 3D. It's just beautiful. And so we do Space Engine, and the reason that Space Engine is so smooth when I use it is because in the movie studio with Douglas Trumbull, where I work a lot with Doug, we had a planetarium program called Digistar, and it was two big racks of computers with several graphics processing units, and these produced digital stars, a digital universe that we could fly in 3D through. And one of the things I did was when people would come visit, very important people or whatever, they'd sit down in our studio, and I would take them on a journey right on the seat of my pants. I mean, I wouldn't have a specific journey that just played. I would just take them for a ride out into the universe. We'd go to Saturn, we'd go zipping through the rings, go past Titan, and then head out of the solar system and move to the Pleiades and run through other stars. Oh, it was just beautiful. And so I got good at that smooth, seamless motion. And boy, I'll tell you, there was many a day when I would just stay until, there was no one left there at the studio, just me. And Doug would say, well, lock up when you leave. And I would just sit there with Digistar, zipping through space and writing some software pieces to help it do some stuff. So it was really cool. And I just found Space Engine to be kind of like a little mini Digistar in a sense. It was really fun. And I did all that with a joystick up at the studio. Here I do it with a mouse. I'd rather do the joystick, actually. And I could actually get my joystick working. I just noticed there's another piece of the nebula that I'm missing right now, and I'm gonna see if I can go down and grab it. Not right now, but I'm gonna do it a little bit. It's actually down here. It's a little out of the view, but maybe you can show it to you this way. If I go here, and then here, yeah, you can start to see a little bit of it down here. See this little red?
Yes.
Yeah, that's another piece of it. Night like tonight, boy, it makes me want to just like just go crazy. I just want to go out there and just go to all these different places in the sky that I know I want to see. You know?
Was that another satellite at the upper right of that last image?
Oh, let's go find out. Indeed it was. Look at that. Nice catch, Daryl.
Kind of hard to miss. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So here, what's interesting is this one was probably heading toward the east. Oh, and it was. See, because now we can see it again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and there's another one. There's one there. Oh, wait, that's not the same one. But I saw another one farther on. Okay, I'll find it.
No, there it was, I think.
Oh, yeah, there's one right there. Okay. All right, let me go.
I thought for a second.
Yeah,
Geez, I saw it, now I don't see it anymore.
I know, I saw it too. Hang on. Okay, so now. Okay, we have this one right here. Right there. And I thought I saw another one, didn't you? Is this one?
I saw two, I think, total. There was the bright one, and then there was a dimmer one before it. Like,
yeah, I saw this one. And now this is the next picture, so let's see if it's a little farther down.
Thank you, Kathy. You get $10 for your truck.
Kathy.
What's wrong with your truck, Mark?
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Oh.
Is there something wrong with your truck, or is that just gas money?
My truck has been having some issues, yes.
Oh, no.
It's all right.
Well.
I do SkyTour LiveStream to forget about them. Thank you, Kathy.
Is that a Ford or a Chevy?
It's a Chevy.
What year?
2008. My son Gabe was rushing to a class, and he had his Jeep Wrangler, and he accidentally backed into the rear quarter panel with the spare tire on the back of the Jeep. He barely noticed that he hit the truck, but it caved in the entire section of the truck.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, that just tells you how well the Jeeps are made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A long, long time ago, I was the ice cream man, okay? And most fun job I ever had. And what we drove were open-top Jeeps with a freezer hung on the back of the Jeep.
Wow.
And we didn't play tapes. We had little ship's bells mounted on the windshield.
Yeah,
frame,
ching, 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 yeah.
Yeah, ding, 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 ding. And, I took that Jeep four-wheeling with a freezer on the back. It wasn't a good idea. I shouldn't have done it, but at least I didn't break anything. I did about lose control once. Jeeps are tough. And this was an old Kaiser Jeep, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Guy had a fleet of like 21 Jeeps in active service.
Serious?
Yep. And his front yard and his backyard were full of old retired Jeeps.
Wow.
Like old Willys and stuff, or Willis Jeeps. And people would come to him, hey man, you want to sell that old Willys out there in the yard?
And it was, nope.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go to another location here. I'm not sure what to expect here, but we're going to find out. Telescope is still good. Do you like this new camera? It's a little more clear than the others.
Yes,
I like it.
I was just about to say. It's a good view and it's clear.
Yeah. I had to turn the gain up. All right, let's just take a 20-second shot here. We should be able to see this nebulous location, but if we can't, I'll just quickly move on to something else. Like the Andromeda Galaxy. We do have to image the Andromeda Galaxy. But that's going to be on the other side of the sky, closer to the moon. And I'm not excited about that. We can see it. Look at there it is. Look at that. Wow. I've never seen that.
I don't know what made me think of it, but it just popped into my head, and it's so stupid, and it's such a diversion from what we were talking about.
There's nothing stupid.
I was just thinking of Mark working for the Navy and doing models and stuff, and for some reason it popped into my head. I wanted to tell him all of a sudden, you know, in that Sharks game Bill and I play?
Yeah.
There are submarines in it.
Yeah.
And they're yellow.
That's cute.
I don't know why it popped into my head. It's just I was thinking something about you working for the Navy. I don't even know where that came from. And then I was like, oh my god. And then I'm like, wait a second. Oh,
that's funny.
I can't break it with that. And then I'm like,
that's so funny.
Well, sure I can.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, exactly. That's very funny. I like that.
I remember that was one of the first things I asked you.
Yeah.
When you said you were making submarine models for
Are they yellow?
And stuff, I was like, dude, they better be yellow. And you're like, nah, not really the best color for a sneak attack.
Well,
true point.
Yeah.
I think Mark read my mind.
Hi, Tom.
You're right. Hi, Papa Tom. What's up?
Oh, thank you, Joanne.
Okay, this will.
Yes, Rocket Man. Katie wants to know what the two stars are close together that you just showed. Does she mean the nebula we were just looking at? Or?
I know what she's talking about, and I'll show you. Because when we were here,
I know, but I won't say.
That's Daryl's way of saying I have no idea.
It's that one down at the lower left.
This is of the two stars we were just showing. These are the ones we were just showing. Okay, this one is well, this is sort of an orange star. I'm not sure if this is a K-type star. It's probably a K. And this star here, which has another part of this, this is a double star in itself. It's that star is 8,000 light years away. This star is probably about the same, because these two stars, I think, are responsible for keeping this nebula illuminated. I'm not sure, though. I could be wrong on that. But I do know that we just took a picture of the Ring Nebula location right here. And this is kind of where we are right now. You can see the crosshair for the telescope. Let's go see what we got. You know, you might say, well, where's the ring? I don't see the ring.
I know it's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Did you remember to send the Did you remember to send the telescope, Mark?
Yeah, it's here. So, the point being, I may have overexposed it. So what I'm going to do is, just to test that theory about whether I overexposed it or not, I'm going to drop this down from 12,800 to 3,200 for 20 seconds. Okay? Again, remember, we're on the wide field, so it's going to be tiny. It's going to be the size of a star, and it's easily overexposed. So let's go here and wait for the image to come in. Again, is it just me, or did I not see it? Oh, no, it's right there. Here it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to zoom in to be able to catch the fact. But this is actually kind of cool because it shows you how it looks at a wider angle, and now you say, wow, it's almost lost. It almost looks like a star. It almost looks like the cat's eye. Amanda.
I'm here.
Okay.
It's kind of too small to really see. It doesn't have that brilliance to it.
It's this right here, yes. And yeah. Wow. I am just I can't believe this.
Tiny dude.
It is. Man.
And that's the telescope, Amanda. That's the low power wide field.
Yeah.
I know.
But is it not a beauty?
I'm just so used to being all blown up and you could see all the detail.
I know.
But we're seeing a lot more stars. We're able to get both sides of the veil in one image.
That was amazing.
I mean, no, it's cool. We're getting to see more in one small space, but...
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I gotta move the dome.
Pros and cons.
I gotta move the dome because I want to catch the Andromeda Galaxy before.
Move the dome, okay.
All right, so I'll be right back, guys. We're gonna catch the Andromeda.
Move the dome like that. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so we can see Andromeda. All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
Dome, not scope. Huh.
Sure would be nice if we had some grenades, huh, Mal?
Grenades. Hey, I'm still here.
I'm sorry. I'm being irreverent tonight.
All right, I'll be right back.
You really need to watch Firefly, Amanda. That is great television. And,
but I'd be getting into it, and then I'd be mad that they canceled it.
But you have to cherish it for what it is. And there's the movie that was a follow-up to the series.
Yeah.
And they do wrap up some loose ends in the movie. It's a great show.
And hello to Ronald.
Ronald.
And, I see the dome moving. Do you guys see it in the bottom right?
Uh-huh. That is a better camera.
No, I mean, I knew we were going to lose some stuff to gain other stuff, but I thought even after he took the picture, he could still zoom in some. It still looked pretty small after the zoom.
Yeah. I don't know if he went to his zoom limit or not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Yes, we're waiting for him to put a motor on it, Tom. Once it's motorized, then he really won't have to go back out for anything.
Well, he says now he's changed his mind. He's not going to motorize the dome. He's going to wait until he motorizes the roll-off roof on the Arizona observatory he's planning.
Question for you, Daryl.
Daryl, are you an Expanse fan yet? Hi, Charles. No, Charles, I'm sorry. I have heard it's a really good show. I tried to get in. I tried to watch a couple of episodes, and it just didn't grab me. If I started from the beginning, I probably would be an Expanse fan.
I don't know. I'm assuming it's a show that came after Firefly.
Expanse, yeah. It's. I think they're still showing it. They're working on new episodes. It's another science fiction drama, sci-fi drama.
Yeah.
But hey, speaking of science fiction, they're talking about rebooting Battlestar Galactica yet again.
Yet again?
I mean, again.
Yeah, because they did it one time, and I didn't like the reiteration of that.
It started out great, and then it got weird. But yes, they're talking about doing it yet again.
Wow.
And the reboot wasn't that long ago. 15, if that long. And they want to do it yet again now.
Okay.
It's going to be sort of like Star Trek Discovery, which I've never seen. That's on, I guess, CBS's streaming channel.
Yeah.
And NBC is coming out with a streaming channel of their own. They're going to call it Peacock. And that's going to be one of the shows on NBC's channel, is the Battlestar Galactica reboot.
Wow.
Supposedly.
Well, it'd be kind of cool.
I won't watch that either, so I guess I don't need to worry about it.
Oh, no. The Battlestar Galactica, the original series, was cool with Lauren Green and Dirk Benedict, you know.
And Jane Seymour.
Yeah, it got ridiculous when they had Boxy and that stupid little thing.
Robot dog.
Yeah.
And Jane Seymour.
Yes.
Have I mentioned Jane Seymour yet?
I don't think so.
She was the best thing about the original Battlestar Galactica. She was absolutely beautiful.
Well,
that was when she was just getting her start here.
Yeah. While you're talking, I had to go move the dome again, apparently. I thought I forgot that I didn't account for the extra location of the refractor on the top, so I'll be right back.
Oh.
Be right back.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
We always do.
Yeah, Dirk Benedict played Starbuck. He wound up later on the A-Team, the original A-Team. I'm just nerding out on trivia here, people. Been there.
People love trivia.
Jump in there if you got a question. Yeah. One thing about the Battlestar Galactica shows, it'd be interesting to see if they do another one. The original Battlestar Galactica and the reboot were both replete with Mormon themes. There was a little bit of Mormon, whatever you want to call it, sprinkled through both shows. It turned out that the guy who created the original Battlestar Galactica, he was a practicing Mormon. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but if you listen to some of the words and some of the catchphrases and stuff, you may start seeing Mormon themes popping up. The Lords of Kobol, they used to invoke. Among the Mormons, it was called Kolob, not Kobol. But there are a lot of others. One of my sisters studies Mormonism, and she watched the show, and she was amazed how much Mormonism there is infused in Battlestar Galactica.
Mormonism and Battlestar Galactica, that's what I heard.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's... This is the Andromeda Galaxy here. And let's now image this in the way that we know. 20 seconds, 10,000. Moon is close by, so what I'm going to do is take this as a potential imager setting. May change it. Kathy Prunisic, so you're really a Jane Seymour fan, are you, Daryl? Well stated, yeah. Kathy.
Did I mention Jane Seymour? And Charles, actually, I never watched a single episode of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Wow.
And it supposedly happened right here in Colorado Springs, I guess. Never saw a single episode of it, though.
Wow. Well, there's the Andromeda Galaxy with the moon out. This is one of the companion galaxies. Here's the other. And here is the Andromeda Galaxy with its extent. I think with just a little help from my friends. That's for you, Amanda.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty insightful of you to come up with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I get by with just a little help from my friends. You know how it is.
Right. Oh.
Uh-huh. Now, let's see. Not that. Okay.
Can actually see the dark lane over the top of it there.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, right there. Yeah, we're looking at the moon is literally if we go look at where the moon is, we can see that if we just sort of like pull out a little bit. Okay, there's the moon, and there's the galaxy. So we're not that far from the moon, and we're getting quite a bit of glow up there. When we were looking on the other side of the sky, see, there's less, but still now visually, if you go outside, there's no visible Milky Way. and we still managed to capture, at that time, the Gamma Cygni Nebula. And when we imaged the veil, we did it just before the moon had really started to affect our sky. And the North American Nebula was affected a little bit. But boy, huh? I'm just impressed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, what are we going to do here? Let's see. You know what? I'm going to go for it. 16,000 at 20 seconds. It's going to be blown out, but we can...
Walk on the dangerous side, Mark.
Yeah, usually we can do that. Here we go. Or so. Let's see what we're looking at. Okay. Now, that was successful. If you'll notice, you can see there's some modeling here in this dark lane, that was otherwise not visible before. We can see the extent of the galaxy a little better. We can see some of the layout of this particular companion galaxy better. This one is always ever just a sort of a elliptical smudge. But yeah, that was pretty good. You can see the modeling in that dark lane very nicely, and then above. But because we have the moon out, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see too much there. But as an example, let me see if I can exemplify this for you. Let me just show you something here. I'll be right with you momentarily here. Momentarily. Okay, here we are, and here we are. I'm just looking for something right now, guys. I'll be right with you. Just a second. Okay, that's... All right, let's bring that in, and we'll just zip through them because I want to show you. All right, so let's try. Here we go. Okay, this is the a nebula called the Heart Nebula, and we took this using a lesser filter than the one I have on there now. So when we go to find the heart, eventually, we're gonna probably get a much better view of it than this here. Okay, this is in the northern sky, a little bit farther up. Okay, then this is the Horsehead Nebula, winter sky object. I imagine the Horsehead is going to look a lot better to us with this filter. This is done with the old filter. Not bad considering the old filter, but boy, oh boy, wasn't bad. And this is the... what is this? Okay, this is the region. This is what I want to show you. This is actually the lagoon, but you can't see it yet. You can't see it here because let me just move this up here, around here. Okay, there it is right there. This is again a previous wide field view, and as you can see, not much to see, but when we looked at it tonight, you can actually see a lot more. This is the Orion Nebula as imaged, here in SkyTour LiveStream. Part of it that was pretty, and
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is really pretty. So let's see now. We also have... Where did it go? I'm trying to show you a couple things here. I want to find that image of the Andromeda Galaxy. Okay. Alright, for some reason... Okay. Alright, I'm not able to find it. I was trying to find an image of the Andromeda Galaxy for you. And I unfortunately have not been able to do so. But it was one that was... The actual image that I took was with this particular setup. And when I processed it, it turned out to be this amazing panorama of the Andromeda Galaxy. I know I have it. But I guess I'm not going to find it tonight. Besides, you guys are all hanging and waiting, so I'm not going to make you wait any longer. But I do want to say, at this point, with the moon up, we're kind of at sort of a little bit of a standstill. We're wherever we could be with the moon in the way, and so we're not able to show any more detail. The other side of the sky, Cygnus and so forth, the things we were looking at earlier, those are setting, and we're kind of in another world where there's not a whole lot for us to check out at the moment. After the moon goes away, we'll have plenty to look at. We have the Pleiades coming up over here, but it's very near the moon, so it's just going to be a washed out mess right now. It's up in the northeast. Capella's higher in the sky. You can actually see Capella above the horizon. It looks pretty nice. And we have winter approaching, guys, and then we'll have the winter constellations to check out. Again, with this new filter. Oh man, I'm so excited. But I did want to say that we are gonna end the stream now, because I have to get processing these images, don't I? We've got some really cool images, and let's review. Okay, I mean, here's this beautiful nebula that we didn't even think we could capture. Okay, this is the Gamma Cygni Nebula. Okay, and these are just the raw images. Okay, when we look at the final images, it's going to be a whole different story. Okay, all right, so there is that. And unfortunately, as the moon rises, we get a little more washed out, sadly. But that's okay. That accounts for much of the blue. And then from Gamma Cygni, I'm really happy to see so many, actually. From Gamma Cygni, we go to the North American Nebula, which is here, and this is Mexico, Florida, and then we have Pelican over here. And so we're going to have a number of those to be playing with and checking out and stacking like mad to show them off. I'm going to be very happy with them. Okay, this one is a bad one we're going to get rid of. But boy, oh boy, yeah, it's just something. And then here we have our beautiful veil, both sides of the veil, and it's actually it's zoomed in a little. See, so when it's zoomed out, this was probably the most spectacular thing for the whole evening, is seeing the western veil and the eastern veil. This is both sides of this cataclysmic supernova explosion right here, and this middle part. This is all moving outward, from a central spot. That's what I
wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
About movement, because there's no wind in space. So how do things move? Is it just from attraction and repulsion in matter? Is it from explosions and the energy waves just keep going?
And more like that, yes. If you think about it, what we have in space is we have outward radiation pressure from the stars that are pushing the radiation outward. That's called the solar wind, or the stellar wind for a different star than the sun. And in a supernova, that's an explosion, and that explosion blasts outward. And that debris piles out into the interstellar medium. Here it is. It's piling out here. And it started somewhere in here, as did this. Started somewhere in here, moving out. And
but then it just eventually loses speed and becomes stationary?
Well, actually, what will happen is that it will be hitting, it'll be colliding with other matter. It's one type of matter hitting another kind of matter. So when that happens, it will slow down. But there's also the light that we see. Now, the light coming from this mess over here is there's several possibilities here. The light that we see coming from it is light that could be generated because of the impact of this matter with the interstellar medium, and maybe a new star was born, or the gas is made to glow because of the ionization that's going on, the hot nature of space where the collisions are occurring. Or we could be seeing, we could just be seeing the remnant of the initial explosion, because in space, how long does it take for something to cool down? Cooling takes place when you can conduct your heat from one place to another. And in space, all we have is radiation and absorption. Okay, particles of dark dust can absorb radiation and get warm, and thus we'll see them on the infrared as they radiate some heat. But basically, the only thing we have is an absorption of radiation or a radiation of radiation. Okay, we don't have a medium like air to conduct heat away from a surface. So it'll take longer for something to cool down in space than it would in an atmosphere. The temperature change will be more radical in an atmosphere. And Daniel Whitaker said he went through Wyoming. Oh yeah, I was in Wyoming for the last couple of years, speaking at a couple of conferences there. Actually, the same conferences several times. And 6 miles outside of Hewlett, Wyoming, where you could see the Milky Way on Main Street in Hewlett, the sky was just stupendous. And the only reason that I didn't want to move there is because they get winter. Fierce winter. And I'm not interested in fierce winter, But Wyoming is stunning. I've got some beautiful photos of Wyoming. And if you guys ever want to do like a little travelogue night, I'll be happy to go through my photos of Norway and Wyoming and San Diego and all these other places where I visited Navy bases and stuff and worked on Navy projects, and show you some of the cool stuff I've done. But that's up to you, down the line. It'll be a totally non-astronomy night for sure. Yeah, North Korea would be a great place to stargaze. Yeah, I guess it would. I bet the stars is all they have. If you get thirsty, you don't think you're gonna go to a store and buy a bottled water. You're gonna have to drink out of a puddle. So, yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I'm gonna.
Yeah, sorry to throw such a big question at you right at the end.
No, that's fine, man. That's totally cool. Yeah, you're more than allowed.
Something I was gonna ask earlier and forgot about.
No, you're more than allowed. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining us for SkyTour LiveStream with Amanda and Daryl. It feels so good to say that. I will be back on the next clear night, which could be as soon as tomorrow night. And we will leave the 5-inch refractor on the instrument out there in case we want to do this again tomorrow night. And there are some other things that we haven't looked at yet that I'd love to look at, some wide-angle cluster views. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow night too, if it's clear. Okay. But listen, I was just warning you, it'll be like this every night in Arizona, 300 nights of clear sky. We might change it up a little bit in terms of how we operate the observatory, but we definitely are going to have some amazing views there as well. I'll be out there in November, and I'm going to be scouting the area where this dome is going to go, or this observatory building. And I just have to get a few additional pieces for the observatory, namely an all-sky camera, which will be like a fisheye lens looking straight up, and that'll allow me to just peer at the night sky and get an immediate reading on the night sky. Maybe a little weather station, but I think that if I can get weather from I might be able to get weather from the building outside of which this observatory will be located at, in which case I won't have to do that. And then other than that, I have to just get the concrete pad built, get the pier from here out there, and bolt it down to the concrete pad that'll have bolts in it for this. And then from that point, it'll be a matter of mounting the telescope, getting the roof rolling off, get the roll-off roof to work right, and then, holy cow, we're in business. The electrical requirements are minimal. There's a very small amount of electrical, and I'll be able to turn it on from here, 3,000 miles away, 2,700 miles away, and operate it from here. But keep in mind that it's actually what time is it here? It's 11:03 here. It's not dark in Arizona yet. Okay, so it would actually things would be starting a little later. It would be ideal if there was a little island out in the Atlantic where I could go put these, like maybe on the Canary Islands. Wouldn't that be great? And I know that there's a bunch of telescopes on Mount Tete out there, and I'm actually part of that group with the telescopes out there. Oh, Raymond, thank you, man. Wow. And out on Tete, there's probably 20 or 30 instruments on the volcano, an active volcano, by the way. And among them is an organization called SLOOH, S-L-O-O-H. I've been a member of SLOOH since 2008, I believe, 2007, 2008. And these are remote telescopes that you can use on the mountaintop. And they're not like this one. They're not this type of interactivity. They're pretty much canned programs to give you a shot of a particular thing, and they're live. But boy, it's really kind of cool. And Maddie, yeah, I just mentioned it, Maddie, which is kind of funny. You said that. I've been a member of SLOOH since, like I said, like 2008 or so. And it's nice, but again, I've watched the changes through the years. I got out of it for a couple of years because the prices went from like what amounted to like $9 a month to $50 a month. And I was like, forget it, I'm out of here. I'll just make my own observatory. And that was part of the reason that SkyTour LiveStream was gestated, you might say. And then I ended up getting out of SLOOH. Then they changed their policies. They brought the prices back down to normal again, and I rejoined. So I've got, a lot of accumulated pictures. I've probably got several hundred pictures from SLOOH, which I could show. And you'll notice a difference in the way those pictures look versus the ones I show you here. Their pictures are actually, they're beyond useful. They're beyond the mode where you can actually use them for anything. They're really to just look pretty. And they've been what I call contrast enhanced and stretched right to the very limit, meaning that you can almost start to see some artifacts in these images. And I'll have to show you what I mean. Like this image here on my screen right here, we're looking at the veil. Okay, we would process this in order to get it to look better, but we wouldn't go so far as to just make the veil this unbelievably obscenely bright color versus the background, because that's not realistic. The subtleties are what matter, But I'll show you more about that. Again, we'll make that part of a travelogue. Show you the SLOOH process and everything, because it is a very interesting process. And I actually am looking to be one of their astronomers. And that's I haven't heard back from them yet, but who knows? Maybe. Well, thank you. Maybe they will want something. Maybe they won't. But the bottom line is, I believe that if they want to be a sponsor of SkyTour LiveStream, I think we could put a little tiny SLOOH logo right down here, and say, hey, welcome to SLOOH. welcome to SkyTour LiveStream, brought to you by Slew. You know, I would do that. But anyway, you guys rock. You are an amazing group out there that are here for us. We enjoy you very much. Amanda and I and Daryl are very, very pleased at how much you are dedicated to what we do. And we just want to let you know that we care about you. We love you. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me on, Mark.
Well, Daryl, thank you
for
too.
coming on, Amanda.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks, everybody.
As I said to you yesterday, Amanda, the best part about SkyTour LiveStream is the fact that you're here with it. I mean, it's really, you've done a really, you've come a long way. As they say, you've come a long way, baby. But you really have. You've actually come quite a long way.
I will say, as I always do, everything is better with Amanda
in it. That's funny. We should make that a little, make the little, a little meme there. You know, everything's better with Amanda, and it just put like, you know, cookies and crumbs on the floor. Everything's better with Amanda. Well, it's okay. I've got crumbs on the floor. It's okay. Amanda's here. It's fine. You know, that's cool. Anyway, thanks guys for coming. Thank you very much. I just want to make sure I pay attention and make note. I want to thank Maddie and Papa Tom and Raymond B. especially, and Daisy and Zoe, and of course you, Daryl, and Amanda, and Justin T. Kathy Pernasek, thank you very much. You're amazing. Cindy Murphy, thanks for coming along for the ride. Katie Q. Neutrino, thanks a lot for being here. It was a lot of fun. Stacy, so much fun having you here with us. And Ronald, very quiet in the background tonight. I haven't heard much from you, but I know you're there. Let's see.
Anyone who wants their name called out better say hello now.
Yeah, so we know,
30-second warning before we say goodbye.
And of course, Maddie and so forth. I wanted to make sure that I capture all the people too that were very good to us tonight.
Raymond, wow.
Yeah, Raymond too, yeah, but we also have Rocket Man.
Yeah,
Rocket Man as well.
Someone else, I blanked on their name. I'm so sorry.
Rocket Man.
It was.
Yeah, Rocket Man gave us some.
Rocket Man, yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very kind of him, yeah. But we had a lot of fun tonight. There was a lot of people that came in to hang out for a while, and Joanna W. was here for a while as well, and may still be out there lurking, but I want to...
And again, remember to hit that bell so next time we go live, you can join us and bring your questions, bring your requests on what you'd like to see, and if it's up and possible, we will bring it to you.
What she said, Charles Smar, otherwise known as Blue Orb, thanks for coming along for the ride.
And I just put the Facebook link in the chat room as well.
Thank you.
That's where Mark puts all his processed pictures once they're all stacked and looking fabulous. You can find them there.
Thank you so much. Curtis Horn, thanks for coming. Pops, good to see you. Dagger Spells, he was here a while. I'm not sure if he's gone. Huh? She?
Dagger Spells, yeah.
I don't know who Dagger Spells is. I just know Dagger Spells. I don't know whether they... Okay. Glad to see that she was here. Yeah. And then of course, all the rest of you that were here that I may have missed. Creamers was here for a while. Rockstar was here for a while. And other than that, I just think that we have an amazing crowd here, Amazing crew, amazing people.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And let's thank especially...
I still say Raymond's going to be eating cat food for the rest of the month.
Yeah, Raymond is very kind to us tonight. Anyone who donates is very, very kind to us. And then I'm not sure how put a CMIC PC. I might be missing the joke there, but that's thanks for coming along. You were here early on. Wonderful people. So I'll thank you guys for coming along for the ride once again. Susie777, good to see you too. And I will be back with you tomorrow if it's clear again, and we'll look at different things. And I will also have some processed images to show you. So thanks, guys, and we will see you later.
Good night.
Bye,
And don't forget, keep looking up.
except while you're driving.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.